My name is Casey, and this is the Galactic Travel Channel. Thank you for tuning into our transmission today. We're going to be going into how to prepare or otherwise get ready for conscious out-of-body travel. Now, I've written an article on this previously. It's how I go into beginning to mentor those who make requests for mentoring, which, by the way, any of you can do if you want it. Request for mentoring. There is no charge applied to any of this. However, the sessions that we have on Zoom are available to be recorded by you and by me and can be posted, uploaded to YouTube and our group for its capacity to help others in the group also with out-of-body travel. So I'm going to go into a few of the items I've listed and speak to you about the importance of them just in brief. So the first category of importance to look at is your daily routine. And so I'm just going to read here. It is generally helpful if the foundation of your daily routine stays somewhat the same. Wake at approximately the same time every day. Practice at the same time every day. Work, eat, go to bed at approximately the same time every day. It's important to, in your daily routine, make things as regular as possible. This helps develop a pattern of awareness. This is fundamentally what we are doing, and all of these techniques and practices is developing that pattern of awareness so that that pattern of awareness can present to us and be recognized by us more readily in what we call the waking state, as well as our waking experiences out beyond the body and additional consciousness space. Along with this, get a little direct sun, approximately 30 minutes, ideally the hour into sunrise and or sunset. Not entirely necessary for this to be the time frame. It can be any time of day, but the basic idea is to get yourself outdoors to connect with nature and the natural rhythm and natural time, to realign yourself and your biological system, your central nervous system, with nature in its natural state. The reason for this being that in additional consciousness states and additional consciousness space and quote out-of-body experience, this is the fundamental basis of the experience you'll be having. It's recognizable to you. It's why we actually live in and are from the nature. So anyway, this just, again, retunes you with this and gives you the frequencies and frequency keys, an ability to cognize and recognize this when in additional consciousness spaces so that you become alert, awake and aware within them more readily. Let's see, take walks as much as possible. Again, just being outdoors, moving. If not completely, stay away from the television and newspaper. Get off of the control system and the subliminal and programs that the control system wants to manipulate you by. Activities as well as discrete things are keys to certain frequencies. Know this. So the act of watching television, the act of walking, the act of eating, especially how you're eating, why you're eating, when you're eating, things like this are all keyed to certain frequencies, and we want to be employing the frequencies that are most natural, most harmonious to our natural being. Okay, again, to give us the keys and frequency keys we need for a high state of alertness and awareness, of lucidity in our experiences, day and night, day and night, day and night. Okay. Okay, so activities as well as discrete things are keyed to certain frequencies, which either are or are not in this moment keyed to the frequency which is most apt to help you explore your own consciousness via OBEs, astral projection, and lucid dreaming. So let's touch on in this moment. Okay, so right now in this moment, it might be correct for me to do something that in another moment it is not. So it's not just the discrete things and activities that are keyed to certain frequencies, but those activities, those things in this moment, in your now moment, that requires the utmost attention. Keep this in mind and from within you, in this moment, always in this moment. Feel if the frequency is in or out of sync. Is this what I am meant or that I want or desire or am motivated that I have the energy to do right here now in this moment? Be asking yourself this always. Okay, and moving from that, you will develop a natural rhythm, natural harmonious frequencies and frequency keys that are more apt to help you have conscious out-of-body experiences, conscious experience in additional fields of consciousness. So the next is food, diet, and water. Now I'm only going to touch on this briefly because this is such a large subject that I'm actually going to do a secondary video on this alone. But to begin, hydration is of the utmost importance. Even more important than food is your water in all manner of activities of daily life, as well as nocturnal life. So if the body is not hydrated, if the brain and central nervous system does not have enough fluid to function, and fluid moving freely through your system, then it is not going to have the energy, it is not going to have the electricity, it is not going to have what it needs to function in its highest fashion. Awareness will not be as high. Alertness will not be as high. Lucidity will not be as high, day or night. So hydration, hydration, hydration. This is not just drinking water. You need to be able to absorb this water. The cells of your body need to be able to absorb this water. And so it's more important than just drinking enough fluids, okay? Enough water, fruit juices, electrolytes. Okay, it's a matter of a state of health that allows your body to actually absorb the water and as well filter out of the water what it does not need and eliminate it. And so this is a huge topic, and again, we'll go into some of this on another video. Okay, so almost more than any other single thing, it is important to be sure you are sufficiently hydrated. I go into an example. When I wrote this years ago, this was during my awakening 4 years. And during those 4 years, the Kundalini was working and I required an inordinate amount of water because I was going out of body consciously almost daily. Okay, and when you do this, when you consciously out of body travel, when you, in your full conscious awareness, expand out into additional consciousness states and additional consciousness space, the physical body will require more water because more energy, and I'll just say more fluids because this could be other than water as well. There will be more energy running through your system, and your system will need the fluids in order for that extra energy, that extra electricity to actually be able to pattern through your system in a way that is beneficial to you without burning or frying the system. So at that time I was drinking upwards of 1 gallon of water a day, which is more than what you should normally drink, and definitely more than what you normally would, even if you're going consciously out of body a time or two a week. That amount will not necessarily be that high. Again, that was during the height of my awakening. If you drink too much water, you can actually dehydrate the body as well. Okay. So go into just briefly touching on foods. You want to eat as organic as possible because in the genetically modified world we live in today, there are an inordinate amount of toxic materials in our foods, and rather than stress and strain the body to that degree, it would be better, if money is an issue, and it is with most of us, it would be better to eat less and higher quality foods than eat the amount that you're typically accustomed to conventionally, non-organically. I'm learning through a great deal of my awakening that at this point in the awakening process, in the collective awakening process of us all, we need far less food to function than we think we do. We are able to grasp nutrients and nutrition directly from the elements without bringing them into our body through our mouths at present. So we are able to absorb from the sun a great deal of us, if not all of us to some degree, and we could enhance that degree by being aware of this and beginning to, when we are outside, deliberately consciously be deriving nutrition from the sun. Okay, this is when it happens in our full conscious awareness. This is when it really begins to occur more obviously in our experiencing, just like the man walking down the street with his head on fire, right? If he doesn't realize his head is on fire, what does he do? Nothing. He's not experiencing it, even though it's happening, right? And so the more consciously aware we are of what we are doing, the more it appears more obviously in our experiencing. So as organic as possible, definitely. At a certain point, I realized I needed more fluids than I did actual foods. So I began making that transition by juicing my fruits and vegetables and making smoothies, just bringing the solid foods into more of their liquid state. And the more liquids, the more fluids there are in a food, you have to know the more beneficial they are to you. So again, top of this list is going to be the fruits, very high energy, high angstroms. The food category that has the highest angstroms, the highest electricity energy, is the fruits coming down, fresh fruits directly off the trees if possible, is going to be the highest. Coming down a little bit is into the vegetables, and from there it just sinks dramatically. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's as much as I'm going to go into the foods, except for saying that when you eat has a lot to do with your dreaming state as well, and coming lucid in that state, and therefore your out-of-body experiences. As you know, I have said from the beginning there is no fundamental difference between a lucid dream and an out-of-body experience, and here I will just state one more time. What is the difference between a lucid dream and out-of-body experience? Nothing fundamentally, but in your experiencing. If you are a person, a body, inside which is the rest of you, then you will experience your lucid dreams in a different way than if you are consciousness, inside which is this person, this body with its own personal mind and energy body system. Then you will experience them as being fundamentally the same. They are an expansion of consciousness from the perspective of our physical awareness. Period. I'm going to end that thought concept right there and get back to the foods. So if you're eating late at night, you're going to knock yourself out. You know, a lot of people eat specifically a lot at night so that they can get to sleep. But what happens is you'll knock yourself way out, and the chances of you becoming lucid from within that state of awareness is nominal. more beneficial to the act of consciously getting out of body or consciously becoming lucid and aware within your dream state is to stop eating 3 to 4 hours before going to bed. If you can't get to sleep, let yourself not get to sleep. There's a reason for this. Just follow the energy. Often I have to get up and start doing headstands and such. There are many nights that I'm wide awake all through the night and around 4 o'clock or am let to sleep for a couple hours. So sleep can be all over the place right now. If you can't get to sleep right at the top of the night, fine. Stay in your conscious state of awareness. Close your eyes. Look into the field in front of your closed eyes and begin working, growing more aware of what you're experiencing, perceiving, cognizing in this. All right? Don't worry about the sleep. The body is the only thing that needs to sleep, and the body is horizontal or otherwise getting its workout in headstands, etc. Or whatever it is you're inclined to do. At a certain point in my awareness, I was inclined to go out into the backyard naked, and so had to do that. Until I did that, I wasn't let to sleep. So it'll be all kinds of odd and interesting things. Follow it. Follow the energy. Follow your joy. So stop eating 3 to 4 hours before going to bed as much as possible. If not completely, stay away from alcohol, caffeine, and sugar, the 3 killers, right? And by sugar, I mean refined sugar, of course. Okay, so that's enough on food and fluids. Hygiene. It may seem odd at first how the idea of hygiene can play a role in not only the ability to go out of body, but also in the deflecting of negative types of experiences. However, once you begin going out, the correlation is indeed made. It was made by me. It was made by me almost immediately, and I was a lifetime meditator previously, so I was somewhat alert to this previously as well, because in spiritual circles you're taught to clean the body and to shower before sitting to meditate and such. There are implications with the Kundalini as well in regard to alterations taking place in the physical system. Suggestions: nightly baths before bed, skin brushing, periodic colon and liver cleanses. All of this is really helpful. Keeping your body clean, kept after. Keep the body in your awareness. It has as much need as your fundamental consciousness itself has, and seeing to this again does help deflect those negative experiences. I'm not going to go into this one a lot, only to say that it is a point of concern, not concern. What's a better word? Well, just something to be addressed, okay, in the mix of all of this. Sleep space. When it comes to experiences like OBEs, your sleep and practice space areas are deserving of attention. So not just the consciousness, not just the body, but the space around you too, in which you're going to be sitting to meditate and or sleep. Suggestions: keep them calm and uncluttered, just like the awareness, just like the body. Low light at night prior to bed. The harsh indoor lighting that we have is on a frequency, an unnatural frequency to us. It's meant to keep us off our natural rhythm. And so as much as possible, go to sleep with the sunset, rise with the sunrise, be like nature. The closer you can get your routine to flow with the natural rhythm of the nature, then the more likely you are to bring your natural abilities, your innate abilities back into your direct experiencing. Okay, I use beeswax candles at night a lot if I want or need a light. Sage and mugwort smudge. I just love white sage. It grows all over California, and mugwort, I have a deep abiding connection with that. Goes, I don't know how far back, but I connect very well with mugwort. You use what you use, okay? Just keep it natural and non-chemical. So sage and mugwort smudge, if it seems conducive. Do this with the intent to clean and clear the space. So again, bring your intent into what you're doing. so that what you are doing is more cognized, more recognized by you, and therefore more obviously being experienced in your experience. So this is all the same, all the same. Techniques that we often use, the wake back to bed, which is a sleep pattern interruption, just to bring you back into conscious awareness while you're still in the midst of your sleep time, your shifts back into the sleep time, the dream time, will be more rapid, and you're more likely to bring your conscious state of awareness back with you. Daily practice, daily journaling, and binaurals. Now let's talk about binaurals just for a minute, because the daily journaling is, of course, very obvious, even though we can often get out of the habit of doing it. Binaurals. Binaural beats, for some, brainwave entrainment. For some people, these don't work. For some people claim that for them they do not work, that they have adverse effects, headaches in particular. Now, there's a reason for this. Okay, I was a lifelong meditator for 30 years before my 4-year awakening process and discovering binaural beats, which was an amazing discovery for me because they work very fast. Let me not get off key. Binaurals work best once you get to the point of being able to focus the mind, quiet the mind. So if you come directly off of a busy day and you have a half an hour to relax and you think that I'm just going to lay down real quick, put on some binaurals, you are going to get a headache because you will be locked in that beta brainwave frequency. You haven't relaxed, you haven't calmed the mind yet. But if you do that first, develop a point of awareness. I often use a candle, using a practice called Tritok for this. It happens very rapidly for me because I have built this pattern of awareness by practicing this for a great deal of my life. So now I can sit down with the candle and within 60 seconds, the mind is calm, the mind is clear, the mind is focused. And when I use the binaurals, when the mind is calm and focused, it's already moving out of that predominant brainwave pattern structure, out of the beta brainwave pattern structure. This is the structure that holds things separate, apart, and at bay. And they're moving into the alpha, the predominant alpha structure. And from this structure, it's a twin structure between the theta and the beta. Okay, and these are the structures that the binaurals help create. Okay, so the tone in one ear, another tone in another, creates that tone in the middle. Okay, a third tone. And that tone is a frequency, it is a field, it is a world, it is an experience terrain that can and does get entered while using binaurals by me on an ongoing regular basis. So I do highly recommend them. I recommend them in conjunction with meditation or other practices or other practices that help focus the mind, concentrate the mind, because again, this is when they're going to come into play into your experience in a more beneficial, pleasant way. Okay, I think that's enough for right here, right now. If you have any further questions about any of what we went over today or have additional areas that you would like to focus into, let me know in the comments below and we'll go into them in more detail. And again, if you would like personal mentoring by me, again, no charge is ever associated with this. We'll meet in a Zoom room that can and will probably be recorded and uploaded to sites to help others and their out-of-body travels.